Listen, they would constantly wind each other up over the smallest things. They would. Aquí uso would para el pasado habitual. They would siempre. Se echaba la bronca entre sí. They would, la tensión subía. They would constantly wind each other up. To wind is darle cuerda. Up. The watch is to wind up the watch. Y if I wind you up, te estoy tensando hasta que explotas. Ya está bien. To wind, I'm not going to wind you up. And don't wind me up. But ellos, antes, they would constantly wind each other up. El uno al otro. They would constantly wind each other up over. Over means con respecto a. Over the smallest things. They would constantly wind each other up over the smallest things. Hello. They would constantly wind each other up over the smallest things. Can you believe it? Esto pasa a veces, ¿eh? ¿A que sí? Don't you agree with me? Listen, este matrimonio, o pareja, no sé cómo. They would constantly wind each other up over the smallest things. They would. Aquí estoy usando would, que no es condicional. Es lo que pasaba continuamente en el pasado respecto a una pareja. They would constantly, siempre. Hacía uno enfadarse al otro mutuamente sobre las cosas más nimias, más pequeñas, over the smallest things. They would constantly, they would constantly wind each other up, to wind each other up. I'm winding my watch. Yeah, dándole cuerda hasta tensarla del todo. Y uno tensaba al otro hasta que reventaba todo. Yeah, sobre lo más pequeño, cosas pequeñas. They would constantly wind each other up. He winded her up, she winded him up. Till boom! They would constantly wind each other up over the smallest things.
Well, I've just had a lovely day. I went for dinner with my grandchildren, mis nietos. Oh, it was fantastic. They're growing up so fast. Well, they're getting bigger, but they're not getting politer, mind you. They were constantly using their mobile phones. Constantly. The whole way through dinner, they were constantly on their mobile phones. They were constantly showing each other photographs, and they were constantly sending text messages to their friends, and they were constantly using that, what's it called, the face blog. They were constantly on the face blog too. Constantly. That's what we say. Venga, dilo conmigo, cariño. Constantly. Well, they were constantly ignoring me because of their mobile phones. So I decided I had to teach them a little lesson. So I took them. I took their mobile phones. That'll teach them a lesson. I mean, you can't go for dinner with somebody and be constantly looking at your mobile phone, constantly looking at photographs, constantly sending text messages, and constantly on that face blog. Well, they might be angry today, but they'll thank me someday. Mark my words.
Hi. They would constantly wind each other up over the smallest things. Vamos a suponer que esto es un muñeco de cuerda. I'm winding up the doll. To wind up. Darle cuerda hasta tensarla y luego se distensa. Ok, to wind up. Y se usa de forma figurada cuando tú te metes con alguien hasta que se tensa tanto su estrés y boom, revienta, estalla. So, en este matrimonio, esta pareja, lo típico, they would, usando would como pasado continuo, they would constantly wind each other up over the smallest things, con respecto a las cosas más nimias y pequeñas. Yeah, cosas pequeñas. They would constantly wind each other up. Okay, word of the day, galleta, cookie. Los británicos dicen biscuit, Pero los británicos dicen cookie y no biscuit. O sea, pasan a lo americano cuando se trata del monstruo de las galletas. The cookie monster. Cookie, cookie, cookie. The cookie monster. Cookies. I like cookies. I like cookies. Do you like cookies? I eat cookies every day. The cookie. But I'm not the cookie monster.
Oh, hello. I was just meditating. I need to unwind. Everybody is winding me up. Everybody is winding me up. The customers are winding me up with their complaints. The staff is winding me up with all their problems. Mike is winding me up because he's always leaving things lying around. Margaret is winding me up because she's always asking for a promotion. Like, no. Jeez. Felicity, well, of course, you can imagine, she's winding me up. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I try to avoid her. And well, George, of course, he is definitely winding me up. He always winds me up because he's so clumsy. Lately, everybody winds me up. I feel like, you know what? I need to take the afternoon off. I need to take the afternoon and relax. I'm gonna call George and tell him. Let's see if that winds him up.
Hi. I'm winding up my watch. I'm winding. Se escribe igual que viento, wind, pero se pronuncia wind. Aquí en inglés es fácil, ¿eh? I'm winding up my watch, or winding my watch, and I'm going to wind you up. Te voy a dar la lata tanto que te voy a tensar las cuerdas de tu psique, ¿eh? I'm going to wind you up until boom. Y de cosas pequeñas, over the smallest details, the smallest things. They would. Would nos condiciona aquí, repito, es el pasado. Siempre se tensaba el uno al otro, siempre molestaba el uno al otro sobre cosas pequeñas. They would constantly, mucha entonación aquí. They would constantly wind each other up over the smallest things. Over se usa mucho esta preposición, over cuando es discutir o regañar, over esto. No discutamos estos. Let's not argue over these things. Let's not wind each other up over these small details. They're not important. Don't argue about this, over this.
It's Harriet again. Yeah. She's either very happy or very upset. Well, now, she is all wound up. Yeah, she got wound up. Yeah. To get wound up is to get angry, right? And she got wound up over the fact that I was late again. Yeah, she got wound up over it, right? We say to get wound up over something is to get very angry or emotional about something. To get wound up over. Now, Harriet doesn't usually get wound up over little things, but this time, she's gotten very wound up over it. Yeah. Well, I was only 10 minutes late, and I told her I was at the post office. I was picking up a package, so there's no need. No hay necesidad. There's no need to get wound up over it. I mean, it's not like I'm late every day. I'm only late 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times a week. But still, there's no reason to get wound up over it.